they were running competitions among the employees to see who could fit the most bodies in the oven. The driver, he was like recalling all of this in his interview. He said that Sconce and the other person who worked like with the ovens, it was like a competition and they were proud of the number that they could fit in there, which he was like, that was a big red flag for me.
That is disgusting.
I think his name was Andre Augustin, who he worked for Sconce. He claims that the former employees didn't know which remains to put in which box, and clients would often get the remains of not only their loved one, but also the remains of a lot of other bodies because, again, commingled, and all of the ash is just at the bottom. So ash is ash. You can't tell what is what because they're not cleaning it out.
This is disgusting and I hate it.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to perform an autopsy?
Ever wanted to know how accurate your favorite crime drama is?
If you're brave enough,
join us inside the morgue.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Inside the Morgue. We're your hosts and favorite pathology duo, Jess and Alice. It's been a minute since we've been here. Lots of things.
Because just got married.
We got married.
Hey, lady. I weeped.
Woman.
I weeped. It was a beautiful wedding. Most beautiful wedding.
It was so much fun. Honeymoon, amazing. 10 out of 10 would recommend St. Lucia. But we are back, and we're back watching a brand new show, which came out in the beginning of June, which is, we're recording this on the 12th. This show came out on the 1st. The Mortician, the docuseries thing on HBO about a very crooked mortician person in California. We're going to get into so many details about how awful a person he was.
Yeah. And you can just assume that this is going to get all the red flags.
Yeah. So many red flags. It was so funny because Dylan texted us in a group and it was just like the trailer for the show. And he was like, there are so many red flags.
All of the red flags. And I'm going to, full disclosure, I've been like moving this week, so I did not do my homework. I just watched it and I read about it. So I'm still going to go home and watch it, but I have not actually watched the documentary, but I have familiarized myself with this whole situation, and it is that shit.
I watched most of the first episode, and about halfway through, I realized that I don't like documentaries.
She thought it was like
I thought it was like a biopic, like drama, like
dramatization of a true thing.
Good American Family on Hulu. Like I thought it was like that type of show, and not so much of docuseries. I guess I actually didn't watch the trailer that Dylan sent us.
Wow, confessing in real time on the air.
I just looked at the show and I was like, yeah, we can watch that.
You just saw Mortician and you're like, haha, amazing.
Wow.
Right. Yeah,
Dylan's gonna cancel the podcast now.
I did a lot of research.
You did do a lot of research.
We did a lot of research. I looked up a bunch of different articles. I know the story.
Yeah.
Just didn't watch the show.
You watched more of it than I did, but I am gonna go home and watch it. And if you've watched it, please get in the comments and let us know what details we missed. Because there might be more in the documentary that we missed in the articles that we read. But this whole story is absolutely insane.
Also, if you're watching and you work in the funeral industry, I want to know all of your thoughts.
Oh, yeah, because don't they, I think they have not crooked funeral directors and morticians on the documentary talking about like, oh yeah, no, he did everything wrong. Yeah. Yeah. So the show is in no way a reflection of the funeral industry as a whole. It is
This was like in the 90s when he was doing this.
Yeah. Yeah. The 90s.
It's so long ago.
All right, so
let's get into it.
Help if this was on. There we go. So in the 1980s, a man named David Sconce ran a cremation business that deliberately combined human remains and basically robbed definitely robbed the families of loved ones' valuables. And I think we're gonna get into this later. He would even take like the gold fillings from their teeth.
Yeah, we will get into that later.
Oh my God. Sconce, who was in and out of prison after pleading guilty to his crimes in 1989, even speaks about what he did in the 3-part docuseries.
Yeah, so which I probably got like a majority of the first episode watched, and when they were like, oh, we're gonna actually interview him, and I was like, but didn't he get 25 to life? Like, isn't he still in prison? And they were interviewing him, like they were sitting in like a kitchen or like a diner or whatever, like talking to him, and I was like, this is shocking and like unsettling that he can just like talk about it and there's no emotion or anything behind him.
Yeah, from what I read in the article, like he made some comments about how he still thinks he did nothing wrong.
Yes, he has no remorse for anything that he's done. He doesn't see like that it's bad in any way.
Yeah, the comments that he made about decedents made my blood boil. Like,
there's like a few quotes of like things that he had said.
Yeah, as somebody who works in death care, it made my blood boil, and it also just like that's just as someone as an outsider perspective, I cannot imagine being these families.
Yeah, like how crushed and hurt and disrespected you feel.
I don't know what I would do. It's absolutely insane what he did to these poor families. So in the show, the episodes detail all of the immoral ways that David Sconce just increased his business in the cremation industry for his family's funeral home, which is Lamb Funeral Home in Pasadena, California. And Sconce's former employees even reveal all of the crazy things that they saw while working for him. And customers talk about how traumatic it was to receive incorrect remains from his business. And current morticians weigh in on the actual correct ways to take care of humans after they have passed away. Because he disagrees, but they're still people.
Yeah. Like, and I feel like this is also kind of a way to like educate the people about, yes, he did all of these bad things, but like that's not how every funeral home is being run right now.
Which I think is a great way to present it, because you don't want people getting a misconception that all morticians are like this. Because they're not. Morticians are great people.
Right.
They're taking care of your loved one in their final resting place.
So the director, Joshua, I think Rofe, I would say. There's a little apostrophe on his E. He says that viewers may be able to relate the cremation scandal to other scandals that they have seen in the news about like complaining about like cutting corners in order to make as much of a profit as possible in exchange for doing very little work. But in the funeral industry, he says it's pretty damn gruesome. So the Pasadena area funeral home directors became very suspicious of Sconce when he was completing more cremations than his competitors. He was also doing this at way lower prices. He charged, so a normal cremation, they like showed all the statistics of like what it cost in like a very like cool way in the show. And it was like around like $200, $300 for a regular cremation that like other funeral homes were charging the families. He was charging $55.
And was this back in the 80s?
This was in the 80s, yeah. He was charging $55 to cremate a whole body. And he was like, yeah, I would drive, like pick them up. And then, so like the Lamb Funeral Home, like they had a crematory on the premise of another funeral home, but it was like their separate business. It wasn't the other businesses.
Right.
So the people who owned the second business that the property was on would see him like driving in and out all the time. And like they didn't really question it. They were like, oh, business is booming.
Business is booming.
It's booming. So he would also like hire like a lot of strong men to assault the other rival morticians so they wouldn't get in the way of him.
He hired people to attack other morticians? That I didn't know. That wasn't in the one article I read.
That was part of the charges of his initial sentencing, that he hired strong men to rival the others. So Sconce's team would cremate multiple bodies at a time. There was one person, he was like the main driver. He would just like pick up the body and drive it, and like he had nothing to do with the actual like cremation process. He saw a lot of things and he was like, that's none of my business. Like, I'm not getting involved. I'm just a driver. But he said in the interview that like they would break collarbones, they would break arms and legs, try to squeeze as many bodies in as possible into the oven.
That is sickening. That is absolutely sickening. Just to, oh my God, picture that.
Yeah.
And just think about that. And to know that he still doesn't feel bad about it.
No, he sees nothing wrong with that, because
to him, he says later, he's like, they're not people anymore.
Yeah, he's like, the soul has left. There's nothing there.
Show some respect. So when his operation moved further out into the California desert, production ramped up, and he was cremating 150 to 200 bodies at a time. I think
Not at one time, probably like within a week.
And so there was a man who lived nearby who was a soldier who liberated Auschwitz, and he lived near Sconce's operation in the desert. And when he smelled something, he called 911 immediately because he smelled burning flesh, and he stated that it was a smell he'd never forget from World War II. And that is how Sconce got caught. That is,
could you imagine
traumatizing.
If that person hadn't lived near this operation, like how long would this had gone on for until somebody said something?
Right. I'm still just fixated on 115, 200 bodies at a time. That is crazy. Yeah. So Lamb's Funeral Home's cremation soared from 194 in 1982 to a whopping 25,285 just 4 years later in 1986.
It was wild, the amount that he would do a year compared to what other people were doing a year.
Do you think the coroner's office or medical examiner's office in the area should have flagged this? Because, like, cremation permits, even if it's a case that we're not involved in, the coroner's office still has to approve the cremation. Mm-hmm. So what happens is basically one of us or the investigator or one of the other investigators has to read, like the funeral home has to send like an authorization to us. We have to read through it, and we have to read the death certificate to make sure nothing seems off. Mm-hmm. And like, it does seem like natural causes, everything's in order, and then we approve the cremation permit and they can cremate the body. Mm-hmm. Even if it's not a coroner case. So I'm just wondering if like the coroner's office in the area was just like, wow, Lamb Funeral Home is really,
really business.
Booming over here. But is that the same in every state, or is that just PA?
That's a good question, and California might be different.
You work in California. That's true.
This is the 80s, so I don't know if they had that type of system.
Yeah,
like
I wasn't even thinking that. I'm like, why didn't they just check the computer?
Why don't they just like email somebody?
Type it in Google and see. They're
going to email the state and be like, you should look into this.
You should look into this. That is insane. So yeah, this was all accomplished by him shoving as many bodies into the fire as possible. And in 1989, Sconce pled guilty to mishandling human remains and mining corpses' teeth for gold fillings at the Lamb Funeral Home. He was sentenced to 5 years in prison. Does not seem like enough.
It doesn't seem like enough.
Was this also for the having people beat up?
No, I think that might be in that initial first one. Mm-hmm. Because the next line here is like, he broke probation and then he got like more time.
Yeah, because he had a gun.
I do think that the assault was within that 5 years probation, or 5 years served time.
So he was released in 1991 after serving 2.5 years, but then he was sentenced to 25 years to life in 2013 after violating lifetime probation that a judge had imposed on him in a series of further offenses. And I think I read somewhere that he had like a gun when he wasn't supposed to have a firearm.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think so. Well, now I feel like I'm making that up.
That makes sense, though.
But I think it was something firearm related. And he was released on parole in 2023.
Which, like, also is wild to me that he was even released for a 25 to life sentence. But, like, again, it's also not that crazy because people get out on, like, good behavior all the time. Mm-hmm. And, like, there's just too many people in the system. So, like, they're just, like, gonna get other people out who, like, weren't really offenders and, like, not murderers.
Right. Like, relatively non-violent crimes, even though he had people.
So, like, he may have appeared within the system as a non-violent person, and maybe that's why he got out with only serving such little time.
I'm just like physically disgusted by this man.
Yeah, this show was also really making me really angry just hearing him talk.
Did you ever watch Making a Murderer on Netflix?
Also tried to watch that, and I couldn't.
You definitely just don't like documentaries. But I never
tried to watch it like multiple times when it came out. Like I was in high school still, and like everybody was
I was fully graduated from college and like working.
No, I was in high school. Like my friends would watch it and they're like, "Oh, like you would like this because like you like things like this," and I was like, "Yeah, I'll give it a try." I just couldn't get into it. I don't like documentaries.
You definitely just don't like. I really got into it, but I was getting so mad at everything. Mm-hmm. Just like how many times it seemed like certain things failed that shouldn't have failed, and like
Maybe I'll give
but
that
I
another
flip-flopped
try.
a lot on like my opinion on it, and it just got so overwhelming for me. And I wasn't even working in forensics yet at the time, so like I wasn't even as educated as I am now in the field, and I was still just getting so mad at how things were being done. I had 2 episodes left, and I was like, I cannot watch this. And everybody at work that I worked with at the time was like, how did you not finish it? I was like, it was raising my blood pressure to dangerous levels. Like I was like, I cannot. I'm getting so upset watching this.
I'll probably go home and like finish this episode because there are only 3 episodes in the series.
I'm gonna go home and watch it, and I'm definitely gonna be like, Jess, this is the most exciting thing I've ever seen. And you're gonna be like, you're a nerd. You're a nerd who likes documentaries.
But anyway, funeral directors, they stressed a lot in the series that Sconce was a bad apple. They say the Sconce scandal led to even more rules and regulations regarding cremations, including a bunch of new laws that required unannounced inspections of crematories. So like whoever, I guess the state does that.
I
Can just go to a crematory, like just
to check it out.
Yeah.
I wonder if it was stuff like this that made it so that the coroner's office had to approve cremations.
Yo,
maybe.
I'm gonna look into that.
Yeah, I know. Now I want to know. If you know, let us know in the comments.
They also said that taking dental gold or silver is a felony now, so don't do that.
As it should be.
I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory. Don't do that.
God.
Don't steal from the dead. It's just that simple.
It's so simple, but this is insane.
So people who carried out cremations for Sconce recall the many red flags they noticed while working for him. Former employees described stripping clothes off bodies to sell and cutting off literal body parts so they could get the jewelry off. So like sometimes like it's really hard sometimes to get a ring off of somebody. Sometimes they're bloated. Sometimes they've had that ring on for years and it just doesn't come off.
Sleep with it on. Don't take it off.
Yeah. So
there's ways to get them off.
I've had to do that. I had to like disarticulate a finger one time to get a ring off, and then we put the finger back with the body, and we gave the ring to the family.
I've never had to do that, but like there's a trick you can do with like string.
Yeah.
And like we've done that where you put like string through and you can like kind of like wiggle the ring off. And I
like go all the way around.
Go all the way around and like tighten it so that it like narrows the finger, and I'm like demonstrating on my own hand with my ring, and you're just able to slide it off.
I also will try to get like, we have like lemon cleaner and like soap in like just like watery soap. I'll try to like wet my glove and like take it off because sometimes like
that works
the skin is just dry.
Yeah. 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 But no.
Yeah. They were also running competitions among the employees to see who could fit the most bodies in the oven. And I think I recall from watching somewhat of the first episode that the driver, he was like recalling all of this in his interview. He said that Sconce and the other person who worked like with the ovens, it was like a competition and they were proud of the number that they could fit in there. Which he was like, that was a big red flag for me.
That is disgusting.
So I think his name was Andre Augustin, who he worked for Sconce. He claims that the former employees didn't know which remains to put in which box, and clients would often get the remains of not only their loved one, but also the remains of a lot of other bodies because, again, commingled, and all of the ash is just at the bottom. So ash is ash. You can't tell what is what because they're not cleaning it out.
This is disgusting. I hate it. So Sconce's ex-wife, Barbara Hunt, says that he was very secretive about his cremation business and claims that she only learned what he was doing from the news coverage that came out during the scandal. But she recalls that one time she saw Sconce sitting on the floor of their garage, cracking open some teeth with a hammer and putting the gold in a styrofoam cup labeled AU, which all you chemistry people out there, you know that's gold. This is a symbol for gold.
That's disgusting.
Yeah. And she states that he sold the gold, and she just sat there thinking, what world am I in right now? Like,
this man she thought she knew? Nope.
No. It's like, what do you do at that point? You walk in on your husband, cracking open teeth on the floor.
Do you confront him?
I'd be terrified. I'd be so scared. He had a hammer and he's cracking open people's teeth, looking for gold. And be like slowly back out of the room and then just disappear in the night.
Call the cops, but then you're afraid he's going to come after you.
I do disappear in the night. You slowly back out of the room. It's like the Homer Simpson. The bush.
You're going back
and
into
you call
the bush.
911 and then disappear.
From the bush.
From the bush. And then never seen again. And Sconce openly talks about how he cremated multiple people at once in the series with absolutely no shame. And the series even shows that he used to drive a Corvette with the license plate I burn for you, spelled capital I, BRN, the number 4, U. Like telling on himself. Like,
he's telling the entire world that he is doing it's
that's bad.
unbelievable.
That's so bad. And he argues that because crematories can never fully clean the ovens of every speck of ash before they put a new body in, it justifies what he did. That's not the same thing.
No, I don't think that justifies it at all.
It does not. Ever. This is his quote. Dylan, don't edit this to make it seem like I'm saying this.
Alice's
He's going to edit it to make it so I say that. Commingling of ash is not a big deal. I don't put any value in anybody after they're gone and dead. He then justifies his action as a practical business decision. I could cremate one guy in 2 hours, or you could put 10 of them in there and it takes 2.5 hours. So what's the difference? There is none. But there is, though. But there is, my guy. Actually, there is.
So he said that most families signed up for Sconce to scatter their cremated relatives at sea with, there was also at the time like that he would do it. They would say, oh, no one's going to attend, just go scatter them. So no one would be in attendance from the family. So he doesn't see why anyone would care if the ashes were scattered at sea from one body or multiple bodies.
So this is something that they actually talked to us about at, I mean, not the specific thing. When we went to our coroner education program, it's a thing called integrity. And it's how you behave when people aren't watching you. So because no one was watching him, he did whatever the hell he wanted. So he has no integrity, essentially. Integrity should be you still hold up a moral code, even when there's nobody keeping an eye on you to do it. He did not do that.
Yeah, no,
and I hate
integrity.
him for it. Hate him.
And when asked how he felt about delivering families the cremated remains of multiple people, he said, there's no difference in anybody's cremated ash. People just got to be more in control of their emotions. That's not your loved one anymore, and it never has been. Love them when they're here, period.
I would punch him in the mouth.
That just like made my blood boil, and I'm like ready to throw hands.
If he said that to me about I would punch him in the mouth several times.
Like if he was here, like
I'd punch him and then I get a bat.
If he was here and like I was in the same room as him, like, and he was talking, I would black out.
But we just have to get in better control of our emotions, Jess.
I know.
This is on us.
As a woman, I need to be in control of my emotions.
Oh, I didn't even say as a woman. I bet you he would, though. He sounds like the type of guy who would.
So in fact, just you wait, guys. In fact, his mom, who her name is Lorianne, she ran the business, and he then bought it from her, and then that's why he was like taking over, and he was doing all of this.
I actually don't know about her. I didn't read this in the article.
Oh,
I'm excited. Tell me.
Also,
I'm not even gonna look at the screen.
Before all of this, his parents also didn't want him to take over the funeral home because they thought he was a bad seed, but he did it anyway, and he bought it from them.
Why did they think he was a bad seed?
I don't know.
Did he have anything of like the McDonald's
I didn't get that far into the docuseries.
If you did, let us know.
But
we've had crazy weeks, guys.
It's been so busy. But Lorianne might be the most disturbing part of this whole series and story. So in I didn't get to this part, but I read about it in the many articles I read.
This is the most unprepared we've been for a show. I'm so sorry.
They say in the docuseries, this is like one of the most unsettling scenes. So an employee claims that she kept who knows whose ashes in her office drawer with exact instructions on how much ash to put in each urn, ranging from adult men to infants. So like you feel the weight, like, yes, like if you're cremating a whole body, it's probably like anywhere from like 8 to 9-ish pounds. As somebody who worked in a whole body donation, we would get ashes back, and I would see their before weight, and I'd be like, oh yeah, this makes sense. Like, yeah, obviously infants probably weigh like a pound or 2.
Yeah.
So she had like exact measurements on like how much to put in each urn, so it would make sense for the family getting it back. And the fact that none of the Lamb Sconces received more than 5 years of prison time makes for their blasé responses to trial witnesses weeping on the stand about their parents' brains being removed without their knowledge all the more galling.
Wait, their brains were removed?
I didn't get that far in the series.
Oh, I bet you they were selling them to like
selling them on the black.
talked.
Well, they were selling jewelry. That it wouldn't surprise me if they were also selling like
organs as. Which I'm gonna watch the series and see if that's what happened. But yeah, they were removing people's brains. That's so upsetting. So Rofe, who was the director and producer of this, argues that there's more to Sconce's motivation, and he told Time, which we got a lot of this information from, it was about the money. And he recalls a moment during filming when he was just alone with Sconce in a motel room, and Sconce asked him what Rofe would do if someone gave him so much money to do a documentary that would make Sconce look bad. And he's like, there was a look in his eye unlike any that I'd seen before. And he said it was just scary. So he's basically asking him, like, where are you drawing your moral line for money? Like,
there's no moral line.
He's like, are you gonna keep unbiased opinion of me, or if somebody gives you enough money, will you make me intentionally look bad? Like, so giving Sconce a voice in the documentary seemed like the right choice to Rofe. I'm so sorry if I'm butchering your name. Who says it's important not to avoid stories about people who have committed crimes. If we were to all walk around pretending that, this is his quote, if we were all to walk around pretending that everything in this world was hunky-dory, yeah, I wouldn't say hunky-dory, that's how you know it's not a quote from me, we would be doing a great disservice to humanity, he says, but taking a good hard look at people is what is vital.
So we got a lot of this from Time.com and also an article from the Daily Beast. So...
which we'll link in our show notes.
Yeah, they're going to be linked in our show notes. If you guys have watched this so far, I think as of today, as of the day that we're recording this, the 3rd episode's not out yet. It's coming out next week. So just the first 2 are out, which I could have watched 2 episodes.
We've had some crazy weeks. I've had a lot going on in my life, and Jess has been there for me emotionally. So she's been my emotional support friend throughout this. So I've been keeping Jess busy. But yeah, this is an absolutely insane story. I'm definitely going to be watching this documentary. And I definitely think if they were removing brains and not telling the family that they were. We talked about on a previous episode about a funeral home that was like accepting like Venmo transactions for like organs they were selling as like specimens, and somebody, or not Venmo transactions, but like wire transfers, and somebody like had to put in the comments of it, and it was like brains, like with a bunch of Z's. Like they weren't even trying to be subtle about it, but they were selling them as like oddities, not just like research specimens. So like
maybe that's what he was doing then, since they were all corpses.
Yeah.
You can't sell them on the black market to like give to somebody.
Yeah, no, that's still insane. I think in one of the things we talked about, it was like someone at Harvard research, like anatomy lab, was selling.
He was selling parts,
selling organs or something. I have to remember what episode that was, but you remember, let us know. Yeah,
it's such a wild story, and it seriously blows my mind that like somebody could do this to so many families and just feel nothing,
like still feel no remorse all this time.
Yeah, this was now it's 2015. They probably did this back in 2023 or 24 when they were like did everything, but like still, you did this in the 80s, and now all these years later, like you've had so much time to just like sit with yourself and your thoughts,
to try and at least grow and learn, and you're still just set,
and you're still like the same, you're feeling the same exact that you felt the exact moment you were doing it. There's no growth. There's no learning. No, like, integrity.
No. It's disgusting. I hate it.
Red flag.
Red flag.
Oh, the red flag.
Red flag.
The red flag's out here.
Oh, the red flag. Yeah, that's absolutely disgusting. I can't believe I didn't hear about this
earlier.
Before.
Same.
Like, this isn't something that I was aware of until the documentary dropped.
Also, like, if Dylan didn't text us about it, like, this would have never been on my radar to watch.
I think I had seen something about it, so I may have, like, dabbled in it. But, yeah, this is a tough one. Yeah, I can't imagine, like, when you work in death care, you are asking the families for so much trust. Like, you're being trusted with their loved one on the worst day of their life. This is the worst, like, this family member, it is probably the worst day of their life. They've just lost someone so important to them, and they're trusting you to take care of their loved one. And it's a lot to ask of someone you don't know. And like, for someone to just take advantage of it like that, it makes my blood boil.
I know. Like, I just think of like the families that like I talk to on the phone. Like, after we like do the autopsy, like we have to call them and kind of like go over everything. If we have like a cause and manner, or if we have like a pending, we'll tell them like why. A lot of them are like, is it okay if like he or she stays there like while we like are choosing a funeral home? And I'm like, yes, like they're in good hands here.
Yeah. They put a lot of trust in you.
And like they're so like thankful for us taking care of them.
Yeah. They're putting a lot of trust and faith in you and in the system, and like particularly with funeral directors and morticians as well, because they're the ones like making them presentable for the final viewing. And yeah, it's just taking that responsibility and just desecrating it like this makes me so mad.
It's so disgusting.
This is someone who's like, I'm gonna get cheesy. I like working in this field is something I truly think I was meant to do in this life. So I take it very seriously. And it's like, I get so mad when people like this are around, or like people get real casual about it and think I'm just in it because it's like, oh, you like gross, weird stuff, which I do. But I'm in it for more than that. And this guy definitely wasn't.
He's in it for the money.
He's in it for the freaking money. This is why I need to win the lottery and open up my funeral home. I'll just take care of everybody for free. Yeah. I do need funds though, so I need to win the lottery. Or someone just give me $1 billion.
We're gonna have unlimited funds.
Yes.
Mr. Beast will probably donate to your cause.
Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, if you're out there watching, I have a crazy idea. A really, really good idea.
Good investment opportunity.
Oh my God.
Yeah, if you guys have watched this, I want to know all of your thoughts and opinions. If you work in the funeral industry, I want to know everything about what you think.
I can't imagine how angry I would be if I worked as a mortician. I want to
look more into like what specific laws were enacted after he was like found out.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if it was like coroner's offices had to start approving cremation permits and like keeping track of how many.
Because it was probably just like, oh yes, you can take them, do whatever you want.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to know when that was like enacted. Like coroner's offices had to approve all the cremation requests. Because
they were probably just taking it like,
oh, hey, it wasn't a coroner's case.
We're going to approve, hey, like we're going to cremate. Is that cool? Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's fine. Okay. But they're like tin cans. Like, hey, can I do this?
It is the 80s.
It's the 80s. That's what Jess pictures
Kids
the 80s
actually
at.
carrier pigeons.
This is what Jess pictures the 80s. Because Jess was in high school when Making a Murderer came out, which is so upsetting to me. Oh my God.
Fetus.
I was like, I'm an adult. I was an adult.
I was such a fetus.
I was an adult with a real job. Oh my God. Oh, I'm just ancient. Anyway.
I love making Alice feel old.
She does. She asked me how the Depression was. Hey, Alice, what was the Great Depression like? And I'm like, it was fine. Thank you for asking. It was fine.
It's okay. I'll get my payback.
I'm keeping a book of all the things Jess has said to me since I turned 30, and I'm going to give it to her on her 30th birthday. I got 3 years.
I got 3 more years of jokes.
2.5.
Okay.
2.5.
Doing great so far.
2.5 more years.
I'm full of them.
Anyway, please like, comment, subscribe, follow us on all the things. We're at Inside the Morgue Pod on Instagram
and TikTok.
And you can email us at Inside the Morgue.
Inside the Morgue Pod, I think.
pod@gmail.com if you have any questions, or you can like and comment. Send us a DM if you have any questions, or if you want to comment about if you watched this show, or if you're a mortician, or how you felt about this.
This episode will come out by the time the 3rd episode's out, so I want to know everyone's opinions on the 3rd episode.
But Jess will not watch it because she doesn't like documentaries.
Watch it. But I want you to tell me what happened.
Yeah, she just wants it. She wants to be told to her in a quicker, more exciting way. Anyway, thank you for joining us inside the morgue.
We're back, baby.
We are back, and we'll be back next time for a brand new dissection.